You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trace Girouard. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of our Rumors segments. We're going to be getting an opportunity to look at a potential upgrade at OC this offseason, thanks to the latest NFL news. We're going to get to a Q&A with the Golden Gang. The subscribers have questions. Me and Lopez have answers, and we're going to break it on down here on the channel. And I want to just have a fun little game here. Comment your favorite player on the Saints roster, but you cannot say any legends. It's the only rule. So no Alvin Kamara, no Taysom Hill, no Cam Jordan, no Demario Davis. Not allowed to do it. But, is it Danny Stutzman? Is it Olave? Is it Devon Vele? Is it Quincy O'Reilly, Kool-Aid McKinstry? Share your thoughts down in the comment section. Let me know. Have some fun with this one. The latest NFL news is as follows. Brian Daboll, he's out in New York. The Giants making him the scapegoat. I don't think that was the right decision, to be totally honest. I think that they would have been better off firing Joe Schoen as well, but they don't have any plans of doing that. And I do think Brian Daboll is a player or is a coach that is a really, really smart offensive mind. I think he was in a pretty bad spot with New York. He had them moving well, but, bad management just really never helped him out. And I actually thought that he had something good going with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. To be totally honest, I figured that they would get Joe Schoen out before they got Brian Daboll, but I also know that that's not really how it works. At the end of the day, though, Daboll, he is now a free agent as a coach. And I put this out on social media the minute that this news dropped. For what it's worth, I'm not saying they need to go and look at an upgrade at offensive coordinator, but, you should always be kicking the tires. You should always be taking a look at what's available in terms of players, but also coaching staff as well, because Brian Daboll has been a really, really good offensive coach for a really long time. He's a ton of experience at the college level and at the professional level. He is coached with Alabama. He's coached with the Giants. He is coached with he was the Bills coach when Josh Allen was emerging. I mean, he was the 2022 Coach of the Year. And I think that when you take into account all of his experience as an offensive coach, coordinator, QB coach, tight end coach, wide receiver coach. He also served as defensive assistant and head coach with the Giants. Not the defensive assistant with the Giants, but that's another position he held. He's a football guy. I've always liked Brian Daboll as a coach. I like him as a football guy. I think that New York is a tough place to play. I don't think that they have the most stable situation. And when you think about what you have currently in New Orleans with Doug Nussmeier, I'm not saying it's horrible, but again, you always need to look at ways to improve. And one thing that I need to make very clear, I don't expect Kellen Moore to fire Doug Nussmeier or move off him. I mean, Nussmeier has followed Kellen Moore around to multiple places, including New Orleans. So when you do have this conversation, you have to figure out, how do you replace Doug Nussmeier with Brian Daboll, and what is exactly his role? We know Kellen Moore is the play caller for the Saints, so I think that's part of why it works, where Nuss can kind of be the behind-the-scenes guy and Kellen Moore can be the play caller. But I also think, the offense has left a lot to be desired, and having a former Coach of the Year and a guy who was just in the playoffs a couple of years ago and somebody who's been really successful when it comes to working with quarterbacks, I think it's not a bad thing to consider. Don't expect major changes, though. Again, I'm not saying Saints are going to fire Nussmeier. I don't think that that's actually something that will happen. I think they'll give this coaching staff a few years. But if he gets poached, if he goes elsewhere, if he decides he wants to leave for whatever reason, then yeah, you're going to need to look at an option. Brian Daboll is a dude that I expect to get some serious interest across football, whether it's professional or college. All in all, I think that the Saints should at least kick the tires. You need to take every opportunity you can to try to improve your roster, your coaching staff, your organization, your management as a whole, because right now you're kind of at rock bottom and you need to get back up top. And doing things the same way and expecting change but not changing anything, that's called going crazy, and it feels like we're starting to get a little crazy. Now, what do you think of the Saints coaching staff? Just share your thoughts. Nussmeier, Tolzien, Kellen Moore, Brandon Staley, Keith Williams, share your thoughts. I want to hear what you guys think of this entire coaching staff. I like it. I think that they could be better, but I do really believe that this is a good squad that could stick together for quite some time because of the nucleus around Kellen Moore Nussmeier, and Brandon Staley. Now we're going to get into our Q&A portion of today's video with the Golden Gang. The subscribers of our channel have questions, and we have answers. We do this every single live show that we do because it's one of my favorite segments. We get to have a conversation, and you guys get to write the content. I just get to have the conversation and talk with you guys. But first things first, got to thank today's presenting sponsor, PrizePicks. This episode of Saints Now is brought to you PrizePicks. We make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season where it's good to be right over at PrizePicks. It's simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. It's the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So if you want to pick more on Tyler Shough's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. I have a pretty cool lineup for you this week if you want to take a look at it. NFC South matchup, Falcons versus Panthers. The Saints are on a bye, so we're going to take a look at the division and try to make some money. 2 players score a touchdown in that game, and then our sweet prince, Rashid Shaheed, he scores a touchdown as well. 3 touchdowns, your boy wins. I believe it was $300+ on $20. Are you kidding me? That's so easy. The Demon picks make a little bit harder to hit, but the payout is totally worth it. I highly encourage you to check out PrizePicks if you haven't already. They use so many features to maximize the experience for the users, and they put users first. All withdrawals are fast and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this season. Download the PrizePicks app today and join millions of users on America's #1 fantasy sports app. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. All that information is in the comments and description of this video. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup on PrizePicks. All right, Billy D, 3,200. I don't like this question. Real ones know. I picked off Kyler Murray in indoor flag football. That's half of my personality. And no, I have no interest in training for Kyler Murray. I don't care. Like, we could get 5 first-round picks. I still don't want Kyler Murray. It's the principle of it. He sucks, and I cannot root for somebody that I got to pick 6 off of. Next question. I mean, I guess if you get a couple first-round picks in a future second. No, I'm just not doing it. Just not doing it. Jaden, Trace and Lopez. I know I've been only one game, or it's only been one game, but do you think that Chris Olave and Shough could be a good duo for a long time? Yeah, I do. I mean, obviously they have chemistry. You could tell that they were comfortable in terms of Chris Olave catching the ball and Tyler Shough throwing the ball. You saw a lot of opportunities. Olave led the team in targets, as he should, and I think that that's the best game we've seen with Chris Olave, dare I say, since Derek Carr's been throwing the football. No disrespect to Spencer Rattler, but I mean, Olave was dropping a lot of passes from Spencer Rattler. What you got, Lopez?
Obviously, agree with everything you just said. I think the most telling part yesterday, the most promising part that I really liked was that deep bomb. That first touchdown, it showed that Tyler Shough trusted Olave downfield, and we got a little bit of a vintage Olave game yesterday.
Yeah.
New quarterback, maybe that was the juice that
I
was
agree.
hyping him up.
I agree, and I do know that Chris Olave has been active with Keith Williams, saying that he wants to get more of those deep shots. Rashid Shaheed's gone now, so you need somebody to do those deep shots. So now you have the opportunity to give those to number 12. That's something he wants, makes him happy. I think it's a good recipe. And I think Tyler Shough's deep ball is one of the strengths that he has in terms of his game. William, do you think the play calling was different for Shough than it was for Rattler? Yeah, it was, because they're different quarterbacks. They're different players. They have different strengths. They have different weaknesses. Of course it was different. I don't think that it was like if the question is, do you think Tyler Shough was, or do you think Spencer Rattler was sabotaged by Kellen Moore's play calling? No, I don't think that's it at all. I think that Spencer Rattler went out there and had an opportunity. I think he did not do amazing after he started off very, very good. But I think Tyler Shough is just a better football player. I think he's a better quarterback. There's a reason Rattler was taken in the 5th, and there's a reason Shough was taken in the 2nd, whether you agreed with the pick or not. I mean, it was very, very abundantly clear that Shough was a good quarterback yesterday. And yes, the play calling was different for Shough than it was for Rattler. And that's because they're different players. Jerry G, Trizzy and Loco, after the Saints come off the bye week with 7 games to go, what do you think the record will be when they finish? And listed out all the possibilities for us, Lopez. I don't think anything like 9-8, no. 8-9, no. 7-10, absolutely not. 6-11, probably not. 5-12 is probably where I land for New Orleans. Remaining on the schedule, you have Falcons home. Lopez, feel free to come on screen here too. Falcons at home, at Miami, at Tampa Bay, Panthers at home, Jets at home, at Tennessee, and then at Atlanta. Yeah, it's right here on the screen. Lopez pulling up the schedule right
I
here.
had to Google it before I gave my record prediction.
Yeah, so I think you can win one of those against Atlanta. I mean, this Falcons game at home after the bye, like I feel like that has a potential win on it. Miami, I think you can beat. Tampa, I'm going to say no. Carolina, you already beat once. Why can't you do it again? Jets, you can probably beat. Wait, so I said Falcons, Miami, Carolina, Jets. Titans are the win. And then at Atlanta, so at least 5. We're at 2, so 7 wins. Did I just give us 7 wins?
I think we're talking about like, oh, they could win this game, they could win this game. I think ceiling is 5 wins.
I think the ceiling is 5.
I think the ceiling's 5. Like, you might think, oh, they're better than the Dolphins. They should have no problem. That's not how sports works.
Yeah, we also just saw the Dolphins beat the Bills, so, shit happens.
I will say what is a little bit concerning is if the Saints do fall into like 5 wins, you're looking at like a 12th number
pick.
10, 11 pick, and I don't know if that's going to be the difference maker that we really need heading into 2026.
No, that's a really, really good point. That's something definitely to think about. The Saints, by the way, are not going to actively tank and lose games. That is not something they're going to do. They're going to give Tyler Shough the chance to win games. They're going to try to get him to win games. And for what it's worth, Saints fans, I think you should be rooting for that because, in my opinion, the best case scenario is Tyler Shough pans out and is your quarterback for the future. You still lose some of these games, but you still have like a top 5 pick. That's probably the best case scenario. And you can still draft a couple dogs and trade around and get more capital back. But like, the best case scenario is not losing out and getting the first overall pick. That's not the best thing for the Saints. If you go and win a bunch of games, shit, man, it's not a bad news. That means Tyler Shough is a winning quarterback and a competent and a capable guy, and I don't know why you would root against that. Anything else on this one, Lopez? Okay. Appreciate the question, Jerry G. Jesus, Caleb Downs, Jonas Anchor, Minzor Delane, Quincy Riley, Cooley, and McKinstry in the secondary would be great. I do really like Caleb Downs. I think he's arguably, between him and Arvell Reese, 2 best players in college football on the defensive side. And they're both on Ohio State, which is crazy. Quincy Riley, I really like him. Jonas Anchor, I really like him. Kool-Aid McKinstry starting to develop a little bit more. I don't know much about Minzor Delane, the cornerback out of LSU.
Dog. He will be a first-round pick. Unfortunately, you'll not be able to get both Caleb Downs and Minzor Delane without trading.
Yeah, he lines up in the corner a lot, out wide. Can line up in the box and slot, has some versatility there, but great against coverage, great in the run defense, great on man, great in zone. Yeah, this is a nice play a lot. I mean, 34.7 passer rating when targeted, only allowed 119 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 intercept. I like this player a lot, but like Lopez said, you're not getting Caleb Downs and Delane unless you trade back and you'd have to pull some crazy shit to make that happen. Whether it's trading back into the first round, trading back, I don't know how you would make that happen, but yeah, it would be great. It's also just not realistic, but yes, it would be great. Pablo, give me a better tight end, and you fix up the defense. You got a Super Bowl team, a wide receiver team. Yeah. Also get some better guards, get a better kicker, better punter. I agree. Fix a lot of things, and yeah, where you could get there. But you got to fix a lot of things. Mickey Loomis hasn't been the best at showing that he can do that. I mean, I think that it's not a simple recipe of one off season and we're a Super Bowl contender. Like, I love the optimism, and I do consider myself a very optimistic fan. But, like, realistically, you also have to understand that the Saints are not going to be competing for a Super Bowl anytime soon. They need to shore up the interior of the offensive line. I think you got your tackles for the long term. Eric McCoy needs to stay healthy for a season if they want to go on a Super Bowl run. You're going to need to see better consistency out of the wide receiver room. You're going to need to be better at running. Like, I love Alvin Kamara. He's not getting any younger. You need to find ways to increase your rushing production. You just had a great game against the Panthers, but it was one game. You need to do it a lot throughout the season. They're really healthy, which is awesome. But they're also really healthy and only have 2 wins. So I think it's more than just better tight end and a wide receiver too. Fix up the defense. I mean, got to get better pass rushing. Got to get better against the run. Add some DBs. Add some corners. Like, this is a multi-year rebuild. And I think they're doing it right. But I think that the Super Bowl team is like 3 years away, if that makes sense. Like, I think next year we'll be really feeling promising about it. And then if it's not, you just get the quarterback and then you really open up your window. All right. Couple more questions, I believe. How do y'all feel about Justin Reid? I feel like he's been a huge disappointment this season. Too many to miss tackles and just missing his assignments. Look, I don't think Justin Reid has been bad. I don't think he's been great, but I don't think he's been horrible. And I think that a lot of fans are expecting him to replace Tyrann Mathieu, but the reality is he is top 10 as a pass rusher as a safety in the NFL. He's in the top half of just overall safeties, which I know it's not anything crazy, but like, he's really good against the run. Like, that's something he's really, really good at. He's 13th in run defense according to Pro Football Focus. 56.6 coverage grade. I know he could be better in that regard. That's not something that he's been great at. He needs to do better at stopping or at breaking at passes and being more disruptive in that regard. But against the run, he's been phenomenal. And that's something I think is really where he's more suited, is the run stopper and kind of the commander down below. And I think he's a little bit like, reminds me a little bit Tyrann Mathieu-esque, where it's, you don't need him to be dropping back and making plays athletically in the back, or back deep a ton. That's now Jonas Sanker. So like, I agree, it's been a little bit disappointing, but I don't think huge disappointment. And he's missing everything he does, and like, I don't think that's. I think he gets a lot of unfair criticism, but I do think that he could have been better, and I think that he has been disappointing. All in all, I think that he could be better at missing or at the tackles. Let's actually look here. In terms of missed tackle, he has 38 tackles. Missed tackles, he has 7. That's 61st according to PFF. So do what you want with that information. 2 pass breakups, 18 catches allowed. Do what you want. I agree. He has been disappointing, but I think he gets a little bit too harsh of criticism. Appreciate you guys for tuning into today's video. My name is Trace Girouard. For my guy, Loco Lopez, we discussed some NFL news, some Saints rumors, some fun off-season conversations, and we answered questions and responded to hot takes from the Golden Gang. Thank you guys for watching today's video and for always tuning in and being subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already, lock us in for more free content by Saints fans for Saints fans. My name's Trizzy for Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden, and we will see you next time.